All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly Wednesday Lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am DDO's community manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour, hanging out, having some fun, doing some Q&A, talking about whatever news we can talk about, and I'll be running this week on the hardcore server. I'll probably be not doing hardcore every week here. I think next week in particular is going to be about Lamania, and we can talk about that in just a little bit. But I am going to be heading into Tangling here today, and we'll just kind of carry through and see where we end up, and see if I survive or not. So how's it going, everyone? Welcome, Zersmesh. Yeah, welcome back to the calendar as well. I have to update the calendar on DDO stream here, either, well, hopefully today if I can get to it. We do have a couple of time shifts and plenty of room, actually, still. So if you do see a gap on the calendar and you think that might be right for you, just let me know. I do have one bit of news here before well, actually, I've got two bits of news before we get going. Let's start with the good news. Let's start with the cool news rather than the bit of a forum bummer news that I've got for you. But good news first. Next week on Lamania, we are going to be, well, fingers crossed here. We're going to be working on our first preview for some of the Epic Destiny changes. They're going to be getting their own Lamania preview, and that should be, well, we're tracking toward next week on that. So hopefully that'll turn out okay. And that'll be your first chance to take a look at some of the changes that are in the works for Epic Destinies. That's probably the biggest bit of news, other than the fact that Crystal Cove is still going on, and that's through June 13th. And otherwise, not a whole lot of news, but that should be pretty cool. We're hard at work on Salt Marsh, getting ready for our first preview of that, which should be in a couple of weeks. And then that is set to release this summer. But you know, we wanted to do some of the Epic Destiny stuff on its own preview, and it's pretty darn close to being ready to do so. So, assuming everything goes well in the coming days, we should be ready to do that next week. Just Epic Destinies, not Horizon Walker. I believe that is true. Yes, I believe Horizon Walker will not be on next week's Lamania. Unless something is very different than I was aware of on Lamania there. I also am not seeing any YouTube comments, which is probably because I'm not seeing them. If someone is over on YouTube, let me know. And otherwise, I also want to welcome everyone on Facebook. Where's the best place to quest for levels 17 to 20? Gosh, you have a lot of choice there. I would just skim through the Adventure Compendium and take a look at what you have. There's a plethora of options for that level range. Let's talk about Cove and the Compass drop rate for the poor Cleric, killing her guildies and dropping comets on heads and not getting compasses. Yes. Well, no, I'm not telling people what to do here exactly in terms of options to get lots of treasure compasses, but I will say that the pirate grog that gets you the ability to get compasses when defeating any humanoid, right? Consumed in conjunction with a whole bunch of runs through, I don't know, something like, say, Kobold Assault or Butcher's Path, will definitely get you the compasses you need. So. Just thought. Otherwise, just get the. Might be a store thing. Sorry. Yeah. All those comments, though, right? So with the Pirate Grog, it does. It allows you to earn like the treasure pieces and the rest from while it's active in those dungeons. Weekend bonus. Yes, I can get to the weekend bonus here. Weekend bonus is going to be this is actually very apropos for Crystal Cove as well. This is going to be a 20% challenge rewards boost, and that kicks off late Thursday morning, late tomorrow morning Eastern Time, and it looks like we're set to let that run for the entirety of the week. That is pretty cool. So that should be running then through next Wednesday, being shut off on Thursday, June 10th, when we do our next bonus of the week. And then, of course, like I said, Crystal Cove is set to go through June 13th as well. So that's cool. 20% challenge rewards boost. All right. Yeah. I think we're all right. Let me, so that's mostly the news there, and I guess I just cooked through it faster than, well, it didn't take very long. That's what I meant to say. And so let's get going. Just kind of see what's up. There's a lot happening in DDO, but not a lot that we can necessarily tell you about this week, right? We're right on the edge of a whole bunch of new info and things to see. Should be pretty cool. My volume is up. There we go. Crystal Cove, are we adding the Scooby Gang? I don't know. I don't think so. Could argue that the first edition Sinister Secret Assault Marsh is not entirely dissimilar to the kind of mystery that was experienced in that show for children. Although very different, of course, as well. I'm running with hires. In particular, I want a Cleric hireling to try to help if I'm no longer paying attention to what I'm doing, as we saw last week, for example. And, make dumb mistakes. And then the rogue is for the traps. There are a few traps in here that you really want to kind of pay attention to. Alright. Oh, sorry, bad news about the forums. You're right, I did have some bad news. I haven't yet announced this. I'm not quite ready to announce it. But... Actually, I can't remember. This is just the... yeah. It looks like, at least temporarily, I am going to have to shut off private messaging on the DDO forums. And the reason for that has to do with changes in European protection, like child protection laws and consumer protection laws. And the current forums do not have the functionality to gate private messaging for those who are under the age of 18 to, say, contacts, friends only. That's obviously pretty important. It hasn't been an issue in DDO, but, you know, now that it's something that is formally something that we need to follow, that the lack of that functionality has kind of reared its head. And it means that until we get that functionality, which presumably we will be able to do, I mean, it's not exactly a huge ask there, but the current forums don't have the tech to support it. And so until we really get our new forums, I think, I'm going to, I believe, have to shut off private messaging on the forums altogether. And that means not just, say, you know, your ability to private message your friends and what have you, but your ability to communicate with us through private message as well. Unfortunately, there's just not much we can do about that. It's the position we find ourselves in, and at least for now, we're just going to kind of have to live with it. I looked at all the options. I've been spending at least a week here. Actually, a couple weeks, I guess it has been. Just kind of trying to see what options we might have, what kind of gating I might be able to put in place. You know, things like that. And it doesn't really look like there's a solution at hand that I can implement without having to update the forums, which we can't do without updating really the website as a whole. So I guess that's kind of where that sits. And that's a little bit of a bummer, but it is what it is, and it is just what I'm going to have to deal with. So I don't have a hard deadline on that, other than it's going to be happening very soon, perhaps by the end of the week. And I do have a couple of other kind of last-ditch things that I'm just like, well, what if I just tried to do it anyway? That also might mean the forums might suddenly bork briefly in the coming days. If so, that's probably what's up, is me messing around with things. But that's anyway, that's just kind of what has to be. So, you know, hey, what do you do? There's certainly, that kind of functionality certainly makes sense. So it's not a problem or anything, other than the fact that we don't currently have the ability to support it. Alright, I'm going back and using that shrine. This will also apply to the other game side as well. But like I said, before I completely write it off and flip those switches, I want to try one more thing and see if I can. Well, one possibility I'm looking at is whether I can basically have some sort of opt-into private messaging system. So that when you register for the forums, you will not be able to private message by default. And then if you opt into private messaging, then I think that might count. But I'm not sure. So I don't know. I also, Goldie Gopher, have no idea. I have no idea if it means you're going to be able to read existing private messaging. We have never turned on or off private messaging on the forums. So I literally do not know. I know there's a toggle switch that says enable private messaging. And I can set it on or off. And we'll just have to see what happens. I think what I'm gonna try to do is like I say, get it announced. Obviously, I'm basically announcing it today, am I not? And then I'm gonna get that announced. And we'll see what we can do. Why would a fireball show up as a successful save with 0 damage? Could be they have damage reduction of some kind. Could be they are resistant to fire or something like that. And it just is not damaging them. But yet they made their saving throw.
The hobgoblin tactician barks orders to his men from a sheet of papers. Seeing you, he stows them away and attacks.
Notice I'm heavily favoring the ranged attacks, particularly my Cleric Searing Light at this point, as I'm running through content, because it's been proven quite effective in not getting hit, and or not getting hit much, and getting the job done. So I've mostly just been doing that. But I do have, you know, currently just only 47 AC, which isn't the greatest, but it's, you know, what I can do right now. And I am level 8 only. Does it also include UK? Yeah, this is, for the forums, it is simply a toggle. We do not have the ability to locate based on geography. That was among the things I've been looking into. But, you know, to use a well-worn phrase in the Boston area, it is what it is. And there's only so much I can do about it. My Searing Light needs to be nerfed. It probably does. It probably does. Alright. This is simply a forum regulation in terms of like kind of a internet website regulation. So it won't have any impact on the ability to send tells or things like that in game. It has nothing to do with in game. This is simply about the website in this case. Ah. Off to a good start there, me.
Studying a map of Tangling, sees you and draws his swords with a snarl.
Hold Person has also been proven to be pretty useful, although I haven't really used it enough in this dungeon yet. There we go. Patrol map. Sweet. Take these things out just because I can, and then I'll get that chest. There. Acid resist, just to be on the safe side. And I'm alright. Oh, that's right. Oops. I thought I might be able to get away. Get out in time. No. That's fine. I can handle it. Alright, there we are. And actually, while I'm at it, let's not ignore that collectible. Anytime you can put a bunch of worm larvae in your pocket, gotta be a good day, right? Yes, I am on hardcore. Is Sun Domain the best DPS Cleric domain currently? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the Sun Domain. I personally have always been a fan of, and continue to be a fan of, for my own hardcore build survival, because, hey, so far it's mostly worked, except for when it didn't. I go War Domain on my clerics. Almost exclusively. I have historically almost exclusively always gone War Domain on my clerics. However, I also really like the Death Domain, so I've done that before too. And you're right, Sun Domain is really great.
The shouts of hobgoblins echo from within.
But I like War Domain, especially for hardcore, because it gives me, especially on these times where I don't yet have my gear in place, I love the flexibility it offers if I don't have a good longsword at the moment. And I like the ability to just kind of use any weapon, you know. I like what it'll eventually do to my turns when it starts to matter a little bit, and I'm offering some nice little bonuses to everyone around me. A bunch of little things that have just kind of added up to be a really convenient for me. You know, about the only real thing is especially recently, long swords are just so nice, and I get some really good bonuses with my long swords. So War Domain is less useful than it used to be when I was more concerned about using, like, say, Bastard Swords, Kopeshes, things like that. But I still like it. I still find it super useful. And so I just tend to stick with it. Yeah, I mean, there's actually a lot of really good domain choices, in my humble opinion. I think there's a lot of good domain choices out there based on what you want to do. You're right, like even the animal domain doesn't stink. And you can do like, so especially if your turning gets real good and you want to work through some certain content that has a lot of a certain type of creature. I mean, there's a lot of good options out there. There really is. So, in my opinion. Which, you know, may be wrong. I don't think so. Yeah, the ability to turn elementals can be really good. Although, like I said, since I've always almost always just gone war domain, I haven't really run into that a whole lot. But I'll be okay. I will get to the Facebook comment here in just a second. Let me sort of handle this fight, hopefully successfully first. It's always nice when you can hold person the clerics if you get the opportunity to. It does stink to find yourself like held. Alright, now I'll go back and use that shrine. Well, I appreciate... So, Steve over on Facebook is saying, you can't remember the last time you ran into an unexpected trap. I guess all I can really say about that is my memory is, in video games, is apparently much worse. You would think after all this time I'd remember where all the traps were, but I just don't. It's like my brain is just not capable. So, I remember some traps. Thankfully, I remember some traps. Unfortunately, I never remember all the traps. Never. What type of sword is the Sword of Shadow? It is... Great.
The stench of the spider tunnels is stronger than before.
Going off the top of my head.
Here now.
Great sword, right? The Slayers will, you know, do some serious damage, especially if you don't yet have 100% fortification, like I do not. So I do try to back away, especially from those Slayers. I try to take them pretty serious, because if they can get a big, you know, sort of crit womp in on you, you could find yourself dead in hardcore pretty quickly. Hey, I was right! It is a great sword. Gosh. Yay. I couldn't think of what else it could be, but then I was like, wait a second. Is it like, maybe, no, something else.
The bilious stench is stronger down this tunnel, and you hear a ponderous bulk.
This is a little dangerous. This part is a little nerve-wracking, but I should be okay. At the very least, I can run all the way back. Hopefully. and
spider in this cave is
just call it
huge
done.
and terrible, surrounded by gleaming egg sacs. Behold,
Got the
whisper doom
NPCs
and
set to aggro, so hopefully they'll take care of things for me. Sorry, I am sacrificing them on the altar of not dying. It's their problem, not mine. There we go. I am Mr. Super Cautious. I tend to like to back way the heck up before I recall out. Hi guys. Yay. No, I don't care about the chest. I don't care about the chest.
the hobgoblins
Was
here
not
do
worth it.
seem
Not
hostile.
to me.
In fact, their chief beckons you closer.
Wow, we're not even at 12:30 yet. Okay. I'm getting a lot more. I'm gonna get a lot in today here then.
You have found the mouth of Splinter Skull. The shouts of hobgoblins echo from within.
Alright. Let me head back to chat. Make the optional quests worth doing? Well, I mean, I do think that there is some good value overall in DDO's optional questing system. Is it a good idea to run lots of optionals on hardcore? No. Should you do it anyway? Hopefully. There are times, actually, where I have been doing some of the optionals. Especially when I'm questing on my own, right? Because you do need loot. You actually do need loot on hardcore. If you don't ever loot any chests, or if the only ones you ever get are the end chests, then you're kind of missing out on a lot of opportunity to get gear that you need. So I actually have been hitting some chests. Now today though, however, today I am being Mr. Super Cautious because I sure would love not to die in the live stream. That'd be kind of cool. So which weapon am I using? Okay. That's right. What are they attacking? Alright. Yay! Oh, getting a little nervous. A little nervous. Not gonna lie.
Stretched into this a massive, well-armed hobgoblin, one of Yarkich's hand-picked Avengers.
I sure would love Dust to have that, fix that one sometime. It's one of those long-standing bugs. The optional just shows Slay 5. 4 left. And there's our Mimic. Thankfully, again, you know, as a Cleric here, I can kind of sit back and largely ping it from a distance, which is always really nice. Optionals are inefficient as far as progress goes. I don't know. I agree with that. I don't know. I'll trust the math people on it, but I think that there's plenty of reason to run optionals in this game. there's another chest. Yeah, it's working out alright. Speaking of chests... I already asked that 2 times. Let me see. Gildy said there would be a blur nerf and high reapers. True or false? I am not aware of any plans to nerf the ability to have 20% concealment bonus in high reapers. I'm not sure how that would be typed to bypass it. Oh, why is Tangleroot not available on Reaper? It has to do with some of the earliest days of debuting the Reaper system. And due to the ability to easily farm the lowest tiers of this quest chain. We want to make sure that we try to... Well, yeah, I think that's basically it. I think it's basically about farming low tiers of the quest chain for Reaper XP. But maybe there's something we could do there.
An arrow is drawn in the dust on the floor, partly erased by the passage of many feet. It points to the right.
But you're right. Especially nowadays, it might not hurt to take another look at that.
The last of Yarkich's Avengers lies dead.
Oop.
You found it. The key to Splinter Skull's inner stronghold.
Any chance Dragon Touched could be updated to match loot gen? That would be a lovely change to make someday. Hard to know when the time might permit for us to do some of that work. But, you know, I mean, we are, with update 50 here, going to be taking a look, finally, at some of that old seal shard scroll stuff. So, that's cool. So, never say never on it, I guess. That could well be something we'd be able to do in the future someday. It would make sense to at least update it to kind of whatever you call modern loot gen scaling and that sort of thing. So, that'd be pretty cool. In a High Reaper, yeah, I would actually agree with you, Chad, over on Facebook. Also, I'm not sure that there is a lot of motivation to run lots of optionals in the High Reaper difficulty either, but then I'm not sure that there has to be, or that there should be. I mean, I think to some extent, if you're going to do that absolute, you know, most difficult content, then, you know, up to you, of course, but maybe, putting yourself at lots of risk isn't the best way to go.
There are no controls on this side of the drawbridge. You must find a way to activate the lever on the far side of the chasm.
I don't think I've got my new Nick Longsword equipped, or hotbarred yet. We can swap over to something else quick. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't any reason to run optionals on High Reaper, and, you know, I'm not trying to issue some kind of proclamation here or anything. I'm just saying that I think I would agree that when you look at some of the highest tier difficulty in the game, perhaps, you know, among the various things that you want to take into consideration, right? Is how many optionals you should be running. Okay. Well, I mean, is it a flaw to make optionals optional?
The hobgoblins here do not seem hostile. In fact, their chief beckons you closer. You have found the mouth of Splinter Skull. The shouts of hobgoblins echo from within.
You know, I think the main argument against adding just kind of a generic system of Reaper XP to optionals is there are just too many optionals in the game of different flavors and types, and the ability to very quickly maybe complete an early optional and just use that to farm Reaper XP would be a challenge. Now, I guess you could do some kind of you know, things to counteract that with decrementing subsequent, you know, XP, etc. So I'm not saying it couldn't be done. But I think that would have to be a consideration were we to want to maybe add base Reaper XP to all optionals in the game, for example. Alright, someone is asking... Since there's a question I'm not answering, I'm trying to figure out what it might... Are classes that don't currently have... I'm not seeing that. Oh, are classes that don't currently have an Epic Destiny, Warlock, Artificer, and Alchemist, going to be getting an Epic Destiny? Now, the Epic Destiny system is not intended to be sort of a per-class thing. In the same way there isn't a direct, you know... I mean, there's Divine, Arcane, and Melee, more than there is... This is a Rogue tree, this is a... Artificer tree, this is a Barbarian tree, what have you. So, that said, you know, I think there's a pretty wide understanding that those classes in particular maybe don't have the most exciting tree options. And when we're doing this Epic Destiny work, that kind of consideration is absolutely part of what's going on here. So, would I want to say, as an answer to a question of will a specific class get a specific tree for that class, I think the answer is hopefully it's more broad than that. But yes, on hopefully making more options available to classes that feel like they could use a little bit more in the Epic Destiny system for that was attractive to them. I am actually a pretty large optional runner myself, and like I say, even on hardcore, there are reasons to be running optionals because you want to get those chests and, you know, XP and what have you. I would agree, though, especially if you're running on a hardcore. Maybe if you're doing a high-level Reaper, you want to avoid that risk.
Not all of Whisperdoom's offspring are destroyed after all. Sulkash must have been breeding these freaks with his magic. Destroy them.
Oh, missed. Darn it. Alright. Good enough.
The lock on the door. Your party has reached the inner stronghold. You hear hobgoblin voices beyond the stronghold door. The guards must be ready for you.
So yeah, I think, I think yes is, I guess both yes and no is the answer to that question on Epic Destinies, which is, yes, we are hoping to offer lots of great options, both existing and new, to all the classes, up to and including the classes like Warlock, Artificer, Alchemist that, came out after the debut of the Epic Destiny system, and could use some extra synergy, I guess. Has anything been said about Horizon Walker yet? You want to do an Alchemist Arcane Archer, Alchemist AA Archer, but waiting for news on Horizon Walker. Horizon Walker will be seen on Lamania here, probably fairly soon, I would imagine. But not yet. Any news on the mini expansion? That would, that's going to be also in the very near future. But we're not there yet. Yeah. Yes. By the way, I am aware that this quest chain does get more difficult, and maybe I should be a little more careful here, so that I do not die. Hopefully. Yes, Crystal Cove is set to run through June 13th. I believe that's a... Sunday. That is a Sunday. So, not this weekend, but the weekend following will be the final weekend. Do summer sales debut this month or in July? They're typically in July. That's why I have the Rogue Hireling with me. That plus the bridge section, although I'm still not quite sure what I'm going to do on that, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll just die.
Someone already engaged this lever.
Alright. Oh, I didn't even need to do it, huh? Why not use the Feywild Bard Hireling as well? No particular reason. I have just... Having a couple characters on screen seems to be just fine. I have not quite found a level 5 Feywild Hireling. I haven't quite figured out how best to use it yet, I guess. Tends to die a lot. Experience. But... Oops. Could use a few more hit points, maybe.
The door here is barred from the other side. You won't be able to go any further.
Right. Good enough for now, huh? Yeah. Actually, why am I even doing this? Why am I doing this? I don't even need to be here, do I? Yep. It's a haste bot. Okay. You know, that is a good enough reason. That is maybe a good enough reason, is it not? Yep. Also good for pulling trapped levers. Yeah, I could see that. Actually, should probably go back and use... Actually, there can't. So be it. Ooh. Not happy. Not happy. Okay. This weekend's bonus is a 20% challenge rewards boost, and that is going to be available for the full week, which is pretty rad.
battlefield in the room beyond is no more. The flesh render that was bound there before is gone. The gate here stands open, and you hear hobgoblin voices chanting.
It's my belief that it does apply to that
far down
bonus.
the hallway.
I mean, it is my belief that it applies to that bonus, yes. I think there have been times where it was bugged, right? It should be working, right? Just seeing if I have any. Nope. Okay. Yeah, I like to discussing, like, you know, optionals and that. And I recognize what you're saying about some of it. It's just
danger. Perhaps the hieroglyphs around it hint at a way through.
Maybe they do. Having a resurrection at the top of the epic destiny tree in that one. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, and I think that's some of the stuff that we're going to be looking at. I will say, though, it's not a raised dead, right? It is an actual resurrection, so that's not entirely terrible. Can I remember this off the top of my head? Of course not. Did I just look at it? Yes. Alright. What was that one again? I call it Spike, Bow, Backward Zeph, Alien. I know that's not the regular. Everyone's got their own words for it. And also, that one doesn't even look like a bow, but I use it anyway. What do you call them? Because it's not the backwards F. You gotta remember the backwards F. And other people call this one the backwards F, but that one seems more F-y to me. I don't know. Oh, green is many shot? That is probably a better phrase, isn't it? And this one was the alien, right? And then that is the... Alright. Did I do that right, or did I not do that right? Guess we'll find out. Alright. Yay!
A deep, sonorous voice echoes deep within this chamber. You have found the fane of Zulkash the Bloodletter. Atop the dais stands the Splinter Skull Totem, shining like the fires of Thernia. It must be destroyed. Zulkash dies with the Devourer's name on his lips. As he falls, a key and a sheaf of notes spill from Zulkash's notes speak of his attempts to control an elemental trapped in a water-filled cavern. The Splinter Skull
Yay!
collapses into
Yeah, and there's my level.
You feel the
Nice.
faint aura of evil dwindle away.
Oh, really? Let's try that again. Really? I would have thought I'd be able to handle that one. Alright. Spike, yeah. You call it Scorpion. Yeah, Pistol. Oh, Pistol's a good one too. Yeah. I think I agree. I think your phrasing of using green as many shot is way better.
Chief beckons you closer.
We have it's 1 o'clock. All right, it's 1 o'clock. That last half hour actually kind of zoomed by, didn't it? So all right, well, I guess that's gonna pretty much wrap it up then. For the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream. So next Wednesday, assuming we go live with Lamania, the Epic Destiny stuff on, like, let's say Tuesday afternoonish, maybe something like that, next week, then hopefully we can have one of the members of the team on to talk a little bit about the Epic Destiny stuff, and then we'll go over some of it live from Lamania next week. That's the goal. If something comes up and we're not able to do the Lamania preview, then I'll either be on Hardcore, or perhaps we'll do Crystal Cove or do something like that, because I haven't done Crystal Cove on the live stream yet. But hey, thanks for joining me to hit level 9, although it's going to be a little while. I got a couple of doozies to take care of on my own. I've got Fresh in the Air, and Proof is in the Poison. Those are the 4s that I've been saving for now. Also, I'm so mad at myself that I totally forgot to run this. I picked it up and forgot to run it, and then I took the level, and now I'm afterwards. So every time I look at my adventure compendium, it's just this progress hindrance that's just going to drive me nuts forever. But anyway, there we are. We'll see if I can make it through. I'm not so much worried about Fresh on the Air. I'm more than a little worried about Proof is in the Poison. I might even skip it, except I've already skipped a couple already, so maybe I should run Proof is in the Poison. Either way, I don't think I want to do that on the live stream, because I want to be super careful, and I want to do it on my own, without people judging me. So there we go. But thanks for watching, everyone, by the way, and please do check out the other streamers on twitch.tv/DDOstream. I also understand StrimTom's got a thing going on with his Dungeon and Developer Insights. You know, he's had Linabelle on recently to talk kind of theory craft some epic enhancement trees, rather. And I understand Steelstar is going to be there. Is that tonight? I think that's tonight. And that's over on twitch.tv/StrimTom. So maybe check that one out, too. So either way, I'll see ya all next week. Thanks for watching, and have fun.